Hey there, you wonderful listeners. I have a question for you. Do you want to make a podcast? Well, Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place and for free. How can you beat that? It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here is how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, there are Q&A and poll options available, and those are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it has made doing my shows like the Steam Machine Podcast, Yabs Pod, and the JRPG Report much, much easier to do. Like being able to just go on there, record them, upload it, boom, it's done. I don't have to pay for a site service to host or anything like that. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. Everybody, and welcome back to this episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me, as always, is my good buddies. Let's go, Willie, then Nate. Introduce yourselves, good sirs, even though I just did.
Hey, I'm Willie. I'm your new co-host, and I'm having a goo time. I think I did that exact same response to that exact same pun on the last episode. I am a worthless piece of trash.
I'm oozed to it.
Oh, there it is.
Zing.
Yeah. All right, well, let's slime for another episode, y'all. It's your boy Nathan. Let's go.
Damn, son.
Zing. Fucking prepared. This week we are finally, The Rock has gone back to beating Dragon Quest XI and being done with it. Fun, long ride. Thank you for sticking with us on this long ride. I know you have been seeing Dragon Quest pop up a lot in your weekly things, but it's been a great fucking time. I really enjoyed the shit out of this. But we're gonna wrap it up today. Before I get there, I would like to remind everybody, because I always forget this, that on the website, the steammachinepodcast.wordpress.com, there is a butt plug for you guys to check out. And by butt plug, I mean there's a button that you can press and it will plug you over to the merch store. It says merch. It's got a big exclamation point next to it. You click that, it'll take you to threadless.com, where you can get a wonderful Steam Machine Podcast shirt, or maybe you want some Steam Machine Podcast shoes, undies, backpack, whatever may float your boat, and you want Steamy's pretty little robot face on there, you can go ahead and snag that. Patreon listeners, ignore the conversation that we had during the Patreon episode. Now, still, go check it out. Also, click the link for the Discord. Come join the Discord. We would love for you to be a part of the community. I'm throwing this together on the fly, so my mind's kind of scattered at the moment. But come join the community. Come in, vote for the games. We would love to have you. We just saw, we had a new person join today, and that was wonderful.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. Shout out to Tux. I don't remember the whole name, but I remember Tux, and that was what I called him. So, or her, them. That's what I called them. So I would like to say Shout out to Tux. Thank you for joining. Thanks all the other people who have recently joined that are escaping my memory because I smoked too much pot. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you being around. Gentlemen,
Yep.
how the fuck you doing this week?
I swear an oath to always be here supporting your podcast.
There you go. Now, what about you, fucker?
I'm doing good, man. It's been I didn't have to work on Monday because the long holiday weekend, kind of easing back in. So far, it's been a really good week. I did stream Dragon Quest 3 tonight. Almost beat the dang thing. So join me on Sunday on Twitch TV/TurtleBearMan to watch the finale.
It's brutal. He actually got to the final boss of the game, and I'm pretty sure he had him to his last 200 hit points.
Them's the breaks sometimes.
Close,
Some slums.
but no cigar.
Some slimes.
Man, I'm telling you, you've been putting in a lot of Dragon Quest time, and
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
A lot of Dragon Quest time. Let's not beat around the bush. Nate, tell them about your achievement.
Yeah, so in 11, I actually got to 100% Steam achievements this time through the game. Like, did just about everything there is to do in the game, man. And it's a lot. It truly is a lot. I have over 100 hours into this playthrough, which on top of last year playing it on the Switch for the first time, which I had close to 100 hours into as well. So I have over 200 hours into Dragon Quest XI in my lifetime.
And I mean, if that's not a testament to it being a good game, I don't know what the fuck is. I mean, honestly,
I think you've at some points, even before you replayed it, cited as like your favorite like JRPG of all time, or at least like in contention for that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I definitely think it is my favorite JRPG of all time, just because, like, this second time, even seeing the flaws that I've mentioned before, the first time playing it, even though they're still there, like, I still think that everything great this game does overshadows anything negative.
if I could recommend one game that got bring over to PC, that's not on PC, that would just please bring it over to fucking PC, is Persona 5.
Right.
Because I really want you guys to experience that game, and I don't want you to have to play it on PlayStation or any of that kind of shit. It would be nice to just be able to play it on the computer. Although I saw something now where PlayStation Plus, I'm sorry,
I think, yeah.
PlayStation. No, I'm sorry, no, it was PlayStation Now. You can stream PlayStation Now games on your PC like you can Xbox Game Pass.
Really?
So I just saw where now PC players can play God of War on PC through PlayStation Now. I don't know exactly how it works. I know I think it streams in the background kind of thing, but
Well,
it's an option. It's an option. But yeah, I really want them to port Persona 5 because that is my game that I think Dragon Quest is right up there with me. Dragon Quest 11. So I just want everybody I fucking know to play it. Ryan, I gave him my physical copy of it on PS4, and I think he's played it once while I was there and hasn't touched it since I left. So, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Persona, I almost said PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 looks like a great one. Now, Persona 5 seems like an incredible game, and it's so stylish and cool, and I definitely want to get into that. But I mean, jeez.
Did they release
the
it for the Switch ever? Because I feel like they wanted to, because why else would Joker be in Smash? I mean, it's just such a weird thing to me.
Persona 5 Strikers came out on Switch, I believe. But
that's not the thing.
But not Persona 5.
I know, but
what was the follow-up Persona 5?
Royal, which I bought that for PS4, and I haven't beaten it yet. I barely even put a lot of time. I got that and then started this show. So I haven't touched much of Royal. So I've seen some of the extra content, but not a ton. But I played the original when it came out, and fuck, man, it's I've said this before, I'm sure, but it's the only game that I've ever cried multiple times while playing it. Stood up and cheered and clapped at my television. And then it just left me with such a good feeling at the end because I got whatever the fucking true ending is or whatever. It was a great game, dude. Just phenomenal. The music, oh my god, the music is one of the best parts of that whole series. The whole Persona series, the music is fire. Might I direct?
Literally, one of the reasons we were all so stoked that Persona got into Smash Bros. Was those songs, even without the context of the games, they're amazing.
They're bangers.
The vocal songs and the instrumentals, both.
Yeah. with Persona 5, the "You Never See It Coming." That's your battle music that you hear throughout the entire game, unless you're in a boss fight, and it never gets old. It is a testament to a song that I heard it probably thousands of times in these battles, and it's so catchy that I just don't care.
And I think that's even harder with a vocal track, you know?
Yeah.
Instrumental, yeah, you can get away with using the same thing multiple times over and over, but with a vocal track behind it, that makes it a little bit harder, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. But I never got tired of hearing that girl. You never see it coming. It's so catchy, dude. And then even like Persona 4, I think I talked about this when we did the Persona 4 episode, man. The fucking Signs of Love, that song, I put it, there's a loop on YouTube that's like 10 hours long, and I listened to it for like an hour and 45 minutes. Just looping that song over and over. It's so damn catchy. Real quick, before we dive into the depths of Dragon Quest, I want to quickly bring up that NIS America is doing a very big dumb thing, in my opinion. Just fucking stupid. Why the fuck would you do it? I mean, I get it. It's business. You want to make money. Yada, yada, yada. But they are upping all of their PC game prices after the Steam sale is over. And some of them aren't affected too much, like some of them are going from like $10 to $20, but there's like games that are like $4.99 that are now going to be $19.99, and I'm like, that's a big jump. That's a big jump for an old ass game. And I know that there's like a bundle release of the old NIS America collection, and it's like Phantom Brave and some other game bundled together, and that'll probably be cheaper. And that's probably what they were doing, is bumping those up. Like Nate, you made a good point before we came on, is that they're gonna maybe jump the prices up and then throw them on sale often, so people think they're getting a bigger deal.
Yeah, that's really my theory behind it. I definitely think that's what they're going to do. I think you're going to constantly see NIS game sales going forward.
Which, I mean, if they're a decent enough sale, fine enough. But, like, damn, man. Like, you know, it's like Ys 8's been out for a few years now, to the point that when it came out, it was $59.99. And now it's $39.99. Where do you fucking think that you should just jack it back up to $59.99? Where does that make any fucking sense? Other than just trying to make more of that almighty dollar. I don't know, man. And it's weird because Ys 9 has not come out yet, so maybe they're trying to cash in on people like waiting for Ys 9, because Ys 9 is out on everything except PC, unless it came out and I did not know about it. Let me hit the store real quick and check.
I think you'd have noticed it, man.
Ys.
Yeah.
It came out 2 days ago.
Oh.
So there you go. So Ys 9 is out, and goddamn, I wish I didn't know that. All right.
Well, here comes the next podcast.
Well, that'll get added to the list.
Just kidding. delete.
Eventually, it'll get out of there. It'll come up eventually. That's not one. If I was going to personally suggest an Ys game for the show, it would be 8. 8 is real good. I haven't beat it. Full disclosure. Shocker. Fucking shocker to anyone listening. I know I haven't beat it, but like, I have it on Switch, and I've put a good amount of time into it. And I would like to say, it is the only Switch game that I have bought that wasn't like the little special edition. Like, I got the special edition of Odyssey when I had that, and it came with like a booklet and all some bullshit. But like, when I got Ys 8 on Switch, and I opened it up, it had a manual, it had stickers, it had trading cards, and it had a map. And it wasn't a special edition or anything. It was just...
That's good.
So I was impressed that it actually came with shit. It's been a long time since I've cracked the case and it had stuff in it.
Yeah, the only game I have like that I've recently bought, it was a special edition because I bought Sonic Mania Plus for the Switch, and it came with a really cool cover and a bunch of little art books and stuff in there for that.
Speaking of Plus, good sir.
Yeah, like when I bought Breath of the Wild with my Switch,
oh yeah,
it actually came with like this cool.
So that's the version of Breath of the Wild that I wanted to get, and it was out of stock. So I got the Odyssey one, which I ended up trading in Odyssey, but I still have the book around here somewhere.
But then I didn't end up using the guide when I was playing the game.
Yeah, I didn't either. I think I used it as bathroom reading material.
For listeners, we're actually all on webcam right now for the first time, and I have the guide in arm's reach, so I actually flipped it out and showed it.
Audio memes. We learned that from Tad Pog.
Audio
Shout
memes.
out Tad Pog, Tyler and Dave Play Games.
Tyler and Dave old play games. Or
wow.
Old play games.
Well
Tad Tab But like we're still under Steez. It's unfortunate.
I just lost my train of thought.
Well, what was that name?
What? Damn it! You crazy kids! I'm losing my mind.
We could probably lose the last 20 seconds in editing. We probably won't.
No, I probably won't. You're right. It probably won't. So my Oblivion fucked up. I uninstalled the mod pack, went to reinstall it. Mod pack is under maintenance. So I reinstalled Skyrim and installed this mod pack called Quest, and it's been good so far, but we'll touch more on that next week when I've put some more time into it. Right now, because I cannot remember what I was about to bring up, let's dive into some Dragon Quest. Nate, turning it over to you, good sir.
All right. Well, when we last left off, we found out that Veronica had died to save basically everyone at the World Tree when it collapsed. Ripperino. So the whole party's back together, and you do a bunch of stuff. But the whole goal in this part of the game is you found out you need to forge a new Sword of Light, because the Morrigan had destroyed what was the original Sword of Light. So you go through a bunch of steps. You have to find the forging hammer. You have to find the orichalcum, which is the material used to create the Sword of Light. And then you have to find the forge itself, which is in Hato. So when you finally have it, you're ready to take on the final boss of Dragon Quest XI. So you fly to the castle in the sky, which is called
the Fortress of Fear.
Exactly, the Fortress of Fear. So you work your way through it, and it's a beefy dungeon. It's my favorite dungeon in the entire game, and I love that dungeon.
One thing I thought was really cool about this dungeon was that there's so when you first start off, there's like a crystal ceiling above you, so you can't get through it. But as you reach the second floor, you have the ability to use your luminary power to shatter that, and then you can ride a dragon rider up there from that point on, so you can create new shortcuts to that dungeon. And I just thought that was like really satisfying from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah, it's definitely an excellent touch because it saves you time going through. Like, say you're like, okay, I've made it to the second floor. That's basically a checkpoint. We can go back out to the front of the castle and save.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But before you even get to enter the castle, you're greeted by another huge boss that you have to fight before you can even go into the castle, which was a pretty big fight.
Indignus,
yeah. Which was the Spectral Sentinel, if I remember correctly, that was holding Eric captive.
Eric, yes.
So you finally get to take him down, and then you start going through this huge dungeon, which is full of great monsters, and is one of the few places in the game where you can run into a wild Metal King slime.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yes, sir. My dick was fully erect at that point. Just standing stiff. I was like, yes!
So it's definitely a good place to grind levels if you're into that sort of thing.
Critical claim, son. Boom.
Yes.
So glad you told me about that.
Yeah, so Nate had figured out this great strat where if you use Eric's critical claim ability, he can get like a free crit. Both he and Dalton use that. I actually still don't have the critical claim ability yet. Because I spec'd entirely into knives. I didn't actually ever... I'm still one level away from picking up critical claim.
You're gonna get there.
Gonna get there.
I will. And for full record's sake, they're ahead of me in the game still. This is the last episode. They're still ahead of me in the game.
Yeah, we beat it. Ice is... So if you ever hear me say Ice, Willie is also known as Ice Brand. So, yeah, yes. They're the same. So one and the same. So, you have quite beat the game, but you're close-ish. Like
he's close enough to the point where we can talk about everything without it really being a spoiler.
Yeah.
Waka waka waka.
But anyway, you continue moving through the Fortress of Fear, and you'll start noticing on your map that the end goal of the Fortress of Fear is to reach another section of the map called the Palace of Malice. And I just think that's such a great combination of names. You go through the Fortress of Fear to get to the Palace of Malice.
That is a marquee match, WWF 1980s. The fucking Fortress of Fear versus the Palace of Malice, and it's just these four
versus the Dungeon of Doom.
Massive fucking dudes. Yeah, and then you got Dungeons of Doom coming in there, Kevin Sullivan being like, "We're gonna beat them all." Yes.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, continue.
Right. And so when you enter the Palace of Malice, you're greeted by none other than Veronica. So,
Oh. So, I don't know, man. Y'all probably knew what was going to happen in the scene, and so did I, but still seeing her was...
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a spicy meatball.
Yeah, so Veronica starts telling you all this stuff, like, why did you let me die? And all this kind of stuff, and eventually Serena's like, hell no, this ain't my sister.
Yeah.
And she starts playing her harp about it, which is what we would all
Yeah, just get your harp out. That's the solution to everything. Just play some music. Dalton can relate.
When in doubt, whip your harp out.
And so eventually that image dissipates, and you find out it was Jasper that had created this veiled image of Veronica just to mess with you guys, because Jasper's a really cool and nice guy.
Great boy. 10 out of 10. Wood grinder again.
So
Jasper's
then
a cunt.
you have a fight with Jasper then, which is a pretty good boss fight. Like, you made a really good joke about what you called him, Willie. Do you remember it?
Oh, yeah, okay. So he finally bursts out into his full... Like, every Spectral Sentinel has their own, like, fully fledged ability or whatever. And so he finally pops out, and he's got these little devil wings, and he pops out, and I'm like, ah, yes! Finally, Jasper unleashes his full form. Two-winged asshole.
Basically just a good riff on Sephiroth, the Wood-Winged Angel, which I thought was... When he said that to me, I started laughing, because I thought that was hilarious.
I didn't type it out because it just came to me now. But like picturing in my head, it's just like, Mom, can we get Devil Gin? No, we have Devil Gin at home.
That was a pretty fun fight, pretty good fight there. And so finally you beat Jasper, and you find out Jasper's whole motivation was basically that he was sad that Hendrik had surpassed him in every way. So basically he was just acting out of spite and getting his recognition where he could, which was from the dark side.
Yeah, he was a whiny little bitch.
He just wanted recognition from his big brother figure. I didn't even know that Hendrik really liked him the whole time.
Goofy.
This is where people, like listeners, communication is key.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Jasper had been like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go do my whole great hero thing by being a fantastic tactician," and Hendrik had just been like, "Hey man, yeah, dude, you are great at that shit. Just keep that up. Y'all go do that. I'm gonna, kick a slime's ass because that's what I'm good at. I am literally only good at swinging a sword. I am the himbo of this game. I am a big stupid asshole with a heart of gold."
Like, Jasper, did you really expect Hendrik to pick up subtle messages from you?
Right? It's like, I have him dual wielding these big axes like he's literally just Meathead Jones.
Yeah, it's not Hendrik's style to pick up on subtleties, let's be real.
Except
I was gonna say, he did pick up on Sylvando. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So anyway, you get past Jasper, and you're finally on your way to fight Mortigan. So Jasper was the big last thing before you fight Mortigan. So you actually get there. And the interesting thing is when you get to Mortigan, he's in a different form than what you had seen him at the World Tree. He's a big monster form now. And you can recognize that as the form that actually destroyed the Dark Star over Gallopolis. It was that form of Mortigan. So you know that Mortigan destroyed the Dark Star for some reason, but unclear why. So anyway, you beat Mortigan out. He's out in that form. He's real buff and tough, so you're going all out to beat him. Finally you do. But guess what? JRPG, here comes the second form.
of course.
And then, I love this.
Go for it.
He shows up in a second form because it's a JRPG. He's the final boss. You know you gotta have a second form. And he shows up he's like 1,000,000 times bigger, 1,000,000 times badder. And then his tail is a dragon. And now he is called Mordragon.
Just
fucking puns, man.
Gotta love it,
puns
Dragon Quest. You never fail, guys. Y'all are so good at this. So more dragons, a pretty good fight. There's points where you can only attack the head, parts where you can only attack the tail, and parts where they're both out there together, and you have to manage both of them at once.
Now, by this point, I do want to say that my team was Hero, Hendrik, Jade, and Rob, I think, during this particular moment. And Hero has I don't remember. I think it's Sword Dance. It's like a 7-hit combo thing with dual wielding swords.
Sword Dance is really good.
Yeah, so I would use that. Then Jade had Fast Feet or something like that, where she kicked like 6 times. Rob had Animal, which he kicked, or he would do claw attacks and it would hit like 5 times. And then Hendrick had the one with the axes. I can't remember the name of it, but he would hit like 5 times. So, dude, I was just throwing mad damage out. Like, that was my whole thing, was hit him as many times as possible.
I literally had that tactic is exactly nothing that you said is something I used.
Really?
I did none of those things. I had Hero there for Quadra Slash, just constantly Quadra Slashing. I had Hendrick out there for a Great Sword Unbridled Blade, because that would do about 700 damage to a single opponent every time. I used... Wait, hold on. I'm looking at this. Okay, that was yours. Okay, I had Sylvando there for support, but he would also use That's Amore whenever I could, get a free shot in. But I mostly had him in there because the Hustle Dance, at that point, if you're managing his charm stat, if you've got his equipment good, he basically gets a multi-heal for the cost of like an 8 hit point or 8 MP thing instead. And in the back post, I had Serena, because at that point she has that whole double, power. But that's completely different from what you guys are telling me you did it as. That's crazy. But I am happy that I did shoot down Mordegren with the That's Amore, which is literally Savando just like pointing his finger at someone and just using all the power of love to shoot a beam at this guy with a finger gun. Yeah. And that's how I killed the final boss of Dragon Quest XI.
Unfortunately, I don't remember which party I used for that fight.
Fair.
But I know it was Hero and Hendrick and 2 other people, because you don't play without Hero and Hendrick at that point in the game.
Yeah,
for sure.
I do want to say I did switch out Rob for Serena after this stuff. So
yeah.
Continue, sir.
So yeah, that is, and anybody that's beat that part of the game, I say yes, you beat Dragon Quest XI. I think that is a 100% fair statement, but there's more.
Yeah.
So after you defeat Mordragon, the castle begins to fall apart, and as it's falling apart, you get an actual... Because most of the cutscenes in the game, I've noticed, are basically just using the... I don't think you use sprites for 3D, but the sprites from in-game. This was actually full CGI cutscene where you're running and trying to get out of the castle before it's falling apart, obviously. And in this cutscene, you just finally jump onto... Cetaceus shows up, and you can jump on Cetaceus' back before the castle falls completely apart. And as the castle falls, because Mordengan had taken the heart of Yggdrasil, basically, it falls as well. And as the castle's falling, you can see Yggdrasil also starting to rise back up, because the heart has been freed from the castle. And, as you fly off, you see some sparkly stuff on the ground, get a nice little set of cutscenes, and then credits. And because you get credits, that's why I say you beat the game if you beat that part.
Yeah, because it takes you back to the main menu, and it in no way that I can remember, now correct me if I'm wrong, tells you that there is more.
No, the only thing that you would notice would be different is there's a little star by your save file at that point.
Yeah, you do get a star by your save file.
Yeah, I just don't remember it saying that like there was more after that, unless maybe it did say like the journey continues or something.
It does say at the if you rejoin the game, it does say something, and then it says to be continued at the end.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
And then you have to join it again, because that ends the game again.
So then you can go back into the game, and then it keeps going. It keeps going. There's more stuff to do. So
I was just say at that point it's just an assload of side quests going and wrapping up, like Tickington, things like that. Oh, before I forget, did you do all the Tickington stuff? If so, how does that wrap up? Because I'd love to know.
I will tell you about that.
Okay.
There is still a plot reason you want to get to the third act.
Yeah.
As we call it, the third act. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it is the third act to me of the game. Because like that one, the end of the game is after the second act, but then there's the third act. And I'll get into the tackle stuff a little bit more. Okay. But it's nothing too spoilerific, to be honest, so don't stress out too much about that. And actually, it's kind of a silly end to that whole plot, that whole thing. But anyway, so in the third act, Rab brings up that he saw some kind of text that says something about bringing back the dead. So as a group, you get the gang back together and celebrating the world. You decide to investigate it. So at this point, you also learn about the Timekeeper and find the time key at the Watcher's Ruin that fell near Dundrasil. So you're over in that area and you find that key. Then Eric mentions that there's this tower that he knows of that's completely abandoned and no one knows what it's about, but he says it might have something to do with it. So you go to the tower, and yeah, that is the Time Tower. So there you...
Now that place...
Yeah.
Real quick, that's the place where they're all the little tacos are walking up it and stuff, right? That was a cool visual when I first got there and was looking around, how you can just see tacos everywhere, and then they're just like a bunch of them walking up the tower and stuff. It was a really cool visual.
Yeah, it is really neat because like the tacos defy physics, man. They just kind of walk wherever they want to. Like there's even scenes of the game where they're like walking up Rab's leg or whatever, and he doesn't notice it at all. So I love how the tacos move up the tower when they're going up there too, because it's just like physics do not apply to these little dudes.
They just
orthogonally walk up. Like if they're walking horizontally, they'll suddenly walk vertically when they hit the wall, and that's just it.
They just keep waddling.
Yeah. Okay. So then you get into this tower because the time key clearly works there, and then you meet this character called the Timekeeper. And the Timekeeper basically looks like this giant tackle that has like fully fledged arms and legs. It looks kind of like humanoid, more so than even a tackle does. And here you discover that the only way to bring back the dead is to literally change the past. So in order to do that, only the Luminary has the ability to do that. So he's the only one that can go back and make this happen. So if you choose to do this, you lose everything that has happened. You know, you lose everything that's happened. You lose the killing of Morrigan. You lose the Sword of Light. You lose everything to go back into a certain point to change history. The only thing you have is, because it doesn't really explicitly say this, it went at the very end of the game, but you get Morrigan's sword, the one that he created from the Sword of Light, but it's now the Sword of Darkness, which is actually a really cool, great sword, and I kind of dig it. But
yeah, it's neat.
You're a hero. Why are you using such a dark-looking sword?
Yeah. So if you decide to do this, you actually get dropped back to the day you initially went to Yggdrasil, before you got screwed over by Jasper, before Hendrik became your ally, and all this stuff. And there's like a big emotional scene where everybody's telling you goodbye, and Hendrik's like, we may not be allies when you return, but I will find my way back to being your loyal and steadfast companion.
Yeah,
I love Hendrik, dude. He's such
so
a
proper.
And so, if you make the decision, you use the Sword of Light to break the time sphere, which is what holds time together, and it zaps you back to the moment you went to Yggdrasil. And so, you pick up right where you left off, and you're like, wow, everything, all your memories, or all their memories of you from that moment on are gone. Everybody's like, why do you act so surprised to see me when you see Veronica there alive? And know that you now have the chance to change history.
Yeah, that was a cool moment. Was still upset though. Still upset. We'll touch on it more later. But still upset with the Veronica situation. Continue.
Yeah. And so then there's like little changes here and there throughout the plot. You get up to the World Tree, and at that point, you're going to get the Sword of Light out of the tree, but you remember at the last second, you know what's about to happen, so you turn around and you slash that black orb that Jasper's about to send at you with the Sword of Darkness. And Jasper's like, what the hell?
How could he have known?
And so then you actually...
And then you can actually use the Sword of Shadows to shatter that weird, like, aura that he had before. And all of a sudden, he realizes, oh, he is messed up.
Yeah. And so at that point, you actually defeat Jasper then and there. And then Hendrik and King Carnelian show up. And it's like, Hendrik's like, I told you Jasper was the problem the whole time. It's like, Hendrik's like, look at him. What is going on here? And so then at that point, you know that Morrigan has control over King Carnelian, but nobody else does. So Hero has to play it cool there and just act like everything's fine. Especially because King Carnelian is acting like Jasper was the evil all along, and now the hero must get the Sword of Light out of the tree and all this kind of stuff.
The dead giveaway to me that the party should have picked up on it, and I think Jade did, is when he sees Jade and she's like, Father, he goes, oh, yes, Jade.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
like he didn't immediately recognize. Like, I don't know. That was my thing where I think Jade probably started picking up on there was something iffy.
Yeah, and so then King Carnelian actually just is like, "Good job, the Luminary is the hero. Please come to a party at my castle."
Oh, this is after he stabs Jasper.
Oh yeah, he stabs Jasper right through the heart.
Oh, yeah, he literally executes Jasper there for failing. Well,
For
betraying him.
yeah,
But
really for failing.
Even Hendrik looks at him like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, nobody was expecting it. It was just like, oh shit, where'd that dagger come from? Or I think his sword. Drew his sword.
Yeah, and so then you make it to this party at the castle, and you find out everybody from Cobblestone is fine, and Cobblestone just has to rebuild at this point. Cobblestone will be okay. There's no, like, Last Bastion situation anymore. And then that night, things get kind of weird at the castle. It's like, Carnelian comes into your room, tries to take the sword, and then this, like, hand just slaps him away from it. He's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "Why can't I touch the Sword of Light?" And Hero's just like, "Why are you in my room?" Essentially. And then this big commotion happens, and King Carnelian just completely loses the ability to hold it together, essentially. Because he doesn't understand what is causing him not to be able to touch the sword. And that's at the point that everybody's like, "Yeah, this ain't the king." And Morrigan just abandons the body, and you end up fighting Morrigan in the castle that night.
Yeah. Now, that's where you actually defeat him, correct?
Yeah. You actually kill Morrigan right then and there. And at that point, it's like, oh man, everything's going to be all right now.
Yes.
it looks good. Looks good. We've finally taken care of the Dark One before he could cause the calamity that destroyed the world. Everything's gonna be A-okay.
But remember how I said Morrigan destroyed the Dark Star that was falling over Gallopolis? He couldn't do that this time. So there's another that was trapped through Erdwin's Lantern / the Dark Star, and that is the new villain.
Yeah, the new villain for towards the end of the game. Now, that little fucking tackle that was following you around the whole time that looked like a nighttime sky. Like all the rest of them looked like little ghosts. This one was dark with this weird seething thing on the inside of it. And that's the little dude who was whacking away Morrigan's hand, right? In that,
yeah,
like, he the one that was like, whenever the star is falling out of the sky, he's underneath it. And then Morrigan destroys it, and he's all sad.
Mm-hmm.
But then this time, there's no one there to destroy it, and he's there and happy, and he is the one who ends up fusing with it?
Essentially, yeah. Because I think if part of him's up there, but his like soul or whatever tackle form it is been roaming the earth, trying to find a way to get back into the Dark Star itself.
Yeah. Wild.
And so that's where you find that there's this new big bad in the town called Kalasmos.
Which to me looks like those little dudes from Nier Automata. Like, they have the little round heads with the big eyes. That's what it reminded me of, but like a big fucking jacked up Scott Steiner version of one of those.
Yeah, and that ends up being the true final boss of the game is Kalasmos. And essentially in this third act, you're going back through and doing things that you kind of did in Act 2, but you're noticing that now that you're in it the second time, you're able to wrap up these stories to give them better endings than they had before. Like, this one might be a little bit of spoiler, but I don't think you're going to be too brokenhearted about it. But in Hato, when you found out that Ryu was the dragon, and you're actually able to save both Ryu and his mother in this version.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that, the things where yeah, you were able to fix the problems going on there, but something went wrong. You're kind of able to go back and fix those things that went wrong and make it just a pure happy ending for a lot of these situations. And so you go through all those kind of things, leveling up, getting really strong, and then you eventually go to fight Kalasmos.
Fuck, man. See, I missed out on so many of the ending side quests then, because I just went and hit Slime Island and leveled up till I thought I was good to go to Kalasmos. But, I mean, at a certain point, all your levels are taken away except heroes. And I was max level. I had everybody max level except Veronica. And then when you go back in time, it nerfs everyone back to what they were at back then. And so I had this level 99 hero with everyone else being like level 40 something. So like any enemies that would pop, it was like Eric got to go first and he would attack. and then maybe somebody else would attack, and then Hero would just be like, squish, and they would just die. But yeah, there's a lot of quests that I didn't know, but then you get blessed with the getting all your levels and stuff back eventually.
You're so upset I had to DM you and tell you about that.
Yeah, I was like, I think I messaged you and I said, so the whole fucking second act was bullshit, huh? It was just for fucking nothing. And it just got retconned. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And you were like, minor spoiler, don't worry, you'll get that back. And I was like, oh, thank God. I was glad you didn't tell me when, but I was also glad that you told me that I was going to get it back so I didn't spend another, 20 hours grinding.
Yeah. And then, like...
So when I got sent back to the past too, I thought, like, oh, this is going to be, like, a few different side quests. Like, I figured, oh, well, I'll get sent back to the past. I'll fix, Veronica's death, and then I'll zoom back to the future, and we'll have Veronica, and maybe we'll fix a couple different things. Like, I didn't think it was going to be a completely new side-split story, you know what I mean? I thought it was going to be more like Dragon Warrior 7, where it was like, we're going to piecemeal fix all these different points of the past.
Gotcha,
Spoilers for Dragon Quest 7.
But then, like, it's a good game. I didn't finish it, but I really liked what I played of it. It was basically like you travel through time fixing all these little islands that had been wiped off the face of the planet. Then when you fix them, they come back to the world. At the start of Dragon Quest VII, you think you're the only island left, the little tiny Fisher Island, at the very start of the game. And then you find out it's a huge world that just had been goofed up by some horrible force.
I know that Dragon Quest XI is like a 100-hour game. I've heard that 7 is like a 200-hour game.
I didn't finish it, I'll be honest. I only played on the PlayStation.
7 might be the last one I get to.
But like,
go ahead.
I did like also that when we got back from the past, like there's still ripples of the timeline that existed. Like when you meet Grandmaster Peng again, she's like, I thought we would only meet again after your death. And it's like, she's like, I also had a bit of a feeling that we've met before. Little things like that. Or like, I don't know, when everyone got to the Yggdrasil, they were like, this feels strangely familiar. Like, a little bit of that energy got sent through the timeline with you. It wasn't just you and, Kalasmos or whatever. Like, I thought that was neat.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think it kind of touches on, like, if you think about, like, deja vu in your normal day-to-day life, I think they're kind of having, like, deja vu, but it's of an actual timeline that happened, and kind of make you think of something like your deja vu. Hey, I wonder if this is from another timeline or something. Like
the Mandela effect.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so not to go too far into all that, because, you get another true ending after the game, and I'll let y'all play through it to get to that one. But, like Dalton was asking, is there a bunch of stuff at the end of the Tackle quests? And yes, you actually have to beat Kalasmos before you can finish the last Tackle quest. So there's a post thing to do after the post game. After you
Jesus.
So you can beat Kalasmos and you can get the item you need to finish the last Tackle quest. And it opens up to... so there were 10 shrines around in the Tackle rooms. It opens up the stairwell in the back, and there's an 11th shrine back there.
Oh, shit.
Man.
That's awesome.
And so it basically makes you fight all these... Because it talks about it a bit, how like there are all these monsters that came through and ruined all these books, all the tomes. So you end up fighting those said monsters that ruined the tomes in those.
Some of the tomes you would get, it was like you couldn't complete them when you first got them. Are there like other tomes that you're having to do first, or were they all like you just had to find like the next part of that book to then finish?
You basically had to find the next part of the book. There's some that you do that if you beat the one in there, it'll give you the password while you're in the book. But there's others that are just meant for you to find later in the game. So like there's some you can't find till Act 2. There's some you can't find till Act 3. It's just kind of stuff like that.
Okay.
But in the very end, if you beat everything of that, you finally... and this is the thing that I was kind of wild for me in this game. There's actually a super boss at the very end. So if you actually, after you beat all the Tackle stuff, there's still one more thing to do. And it's you fight a super boss called the Time Worm. Neither one of you are going to do this, so I don't mind talking about it. You might, but I don't mind talking about it. It's basically just a reskin of More Dragon. So it uses the same character model as More Dragon does, except for it's like gold and creepy and all that stuff. But you essentially can't beat this fight without cheesing it, I don't think. I was level 99. I had to use this pep power that I will not name because it actually is kind of spoilery to name it, but it makes your party invincible for a certain number of turns so you don't take any damage. And then use Magic Burst with Veronica, and then use Elfin Elixirs to fill up her magic back to the top. Keep using Magic Bursts and pep pops to get your team pepped back up so you can use the pep powers again. It's just a pain in the butt, and it keeps track of how many turns it takes you to beat it. There's a special achievement if you do it in under 50 turns. I did it in 52 turns, and I wasn't going back to do it again.
Ooh.
But in order to get Jade's last outfit, which is kind of a slap in the face to me, you have to beat the Time Worm, period. And the last costume you get is the one that Booga makes her wear.
Oh, the blue one?
Yep.
Your literal least favorite part of the game.
My literal least favorite part of the game was the final reward for beating the super boss of the game.
And you know, like, I didn't put Jade in the bunny outfit. I know James said that he liked having Jade in the bunny outfit, but that was just his own personal choice. But I liked her in like the warrior princess.
Yeah, those are the ones I liked as well.
Yeah,
I have our own warrior princess right now too.
or the
I just actually finished making
And
that.
I like having Veronica in like black cat costume.
I did switch Jade into the one that looked like warrior princess, but it was like black and red.
Yeah.
And then I had Serena at the end in like this goth-looking costume type thing. Like, it looked pretty cool. I did the trials 5 times so I could get all those rewards.
Nice.
So I went. I know you're shaking your head. I did this first trial over and over and over.
Oh.
I just ran through it 5 times, and then I did the other 2 once. Or no, I'm sorry. I ran through it 3 times. Did the other 2 once. But I
Have you seen the trials in Dundersill yet?
Oh, I was thinking you meant the
No.
Will of Harma, which that's what I was shaking my head at.
No,
Like,
there's trials in
I'm not gonna finish
Dundersill
that.
as well that you'll get to do.
No, I haven't.
Those are
done
actually fun.
Still yet. No. Okay.
well, the rewards aren't anything like stoiler. It's a new word. Spoiler.
Stoiler to the spory.
There's another race that you can unlock in Gallipolis. Excuse me. There's having your true love waiting for you at home, which I want to bring that up here in a second. But like, the main one was there's an item that you can make Serena's hair short on command. So I got that because I preferred Serena with the short haircut. Like, I think it looked better. Unfortunately,
Does that give her the short haircut powers?
no, it doesn't.
No, the short haircut actually is bad because it doesn't have any buffs to the accessory itself. So if you put it on, you're basically giving up an accessory spot.
Yeah, worth it in my opinion, but that's just me.
It was
What
a
I
good
didn't
one.
get, what I waited for the entire fucking game and didn't get, was a nice little accessory that made Veronica normal size, because you see her in the opening cutscene normal size. There's multiple times during the game where it flashes and you see her at normal size, you know? And like, I wanted to do a fuck, marry, kill Veronica, Serena, and Jade, and obviously that's weird. So
Yeah, if one of them is a child,
I
the
have
whole
to say,
thing.
like, adult Veronica, which still doesn't work.
I have to leave this
nope,
one
it's
because
bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't work. And I wanted that to be a thing that we could joke and end on, but really, like, what? I guess we could replace it with like the seer in female form, which just basically, or I don't know.
Yeah, so it doesn't work, man. It's sorry. It's sorry. It just doesn't work.
I'm gonna take the 2 that aren't kill, and just throw Jade on both of them, and we'll just call it there. And anyways, so one of the things you can get is your true love is waiting for you at home, and that is obviously Gemma, and or Gemma.
It's Gemma.
I think
It's
it's Gemma. Yeah. So you go back home to her,
It's short for Gemma Lee.
and presumably y'all have sex. Like, what she was hinting at to me was like, do you think we could? Oh, I don't know. Never mind. Don't mind me. I'm just talking and things like that. I'm like, this girl's trying to be like, yo, can we sleep together? Maybe not fuck, but like, you want to stay the night type thing. You know what I'm saying? And like, maybe we could kiss some.
You are married. I mean, come on. It happens.
Well, at that point, yeah. But before, throughout the whole game, she's kind of hinting around.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I hope you come home. That kind of
Yeah.
thing. So
From the fucking start. Like, even when you're going up the fucking cobblestone tower, everyone's like, when you come back down, they're like, oh, you and Gemma,
Yeah.
you know, it's a pretty good mix.
now, people on Reddit, on this, of course, it's always Reddit, on this thing that I saw,
course, it's always fucking.
We're saying that this one particular person was saying that he felt that the relationship between Hiro and Gemma was forced. That like they forced it upon you, like you didn't have any choice or whatever. And I was like, it wasn't even part of anything. It was literally just there for filler content. It didn't fucking matter. Why do you people care?
It's not a dating sim, y'all. This game is not a dating sim.
Yeah,
if you want a dating sim, go play something else.
Like Persona has where you can date some of the girls, but that game's got slice of life elements to it. You know what I'm saying? It's not a straight RPG, whereas Dragon Quest is a straight RPG. Like, there is none of that. Like you said, there's no dating sim stuff, and it's just weird to me that, like, to even say that, because, like, that never once occurred to me ever. It was like, man, they're really forcing this cute blonde girl that loves my dude down my throat. Like, wait, okay, so there's this girl, she loves him. Cool, I hope I make it to the end of the game so they can be happily ever after and have babies and stuff. Like, what the fuck?
I guess if you're that obsessed with self-inserting yourself into the game and you wish that you got to marry Jade or something, I mean, that's your own problem. But, like, don't self-insert. This game wasn't... I don't know. Whatever.
I don't even like when you got the point where you could, like... There was, like, a scene in the Tickington where you would, like, rehearse like marriages with people, and the first two people I approached was Sylvando and Amnesiac Eric, because I was like, those are my choices, man.
Yep.
Like, I would pick those above the reincarnation of my past self's wife or whatever. And then, like, the guy I actually played as, I was like, I don't know, I feel like he actually had some chemistry with Jenna.
Yeah. I don't, people are weird, man. People are strange. When you're a stranger.
When you're a stranger.
People seem ugly when you're alone.
When you're strange.
Faces come out of the range. When you're strange. We're gonna get DMCA. When you're strange.
I mean, it has to actually sound like the song to get DMCA'd, so I think we're gonna be okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, man, so like, yeah, I don't agree with that, but overall, like, I just think the game was really well put together, constructed, and the story, while not especially deep, I think did a good job of creating an emotional effect and keeping at a good pace. I felt that the leveling system in the game was consistent throughout, and like it was a really good RPG in the fact that I don't think it made you sit in the same spot and grind forever. You could continue playing the game without having to do a lot of grinding, and I think that's kind of how Willie played it. But it also rewarded the hell out of you if you did grind for a while, because then you could just snap through things like Thanos, you know?
Yeah.
I think the pacing was well done, especially for a game this long. I don't feel like I ever sat in the same place bored out of my mind for very long.
I did, but I did it to myself, sitting on Slime Island. That was my own fault, though. Like, so I wouldn't hold that against the game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just wanted to sit on Slime Island and grind, man, I get it.
Dude, I wanted to sit there and grind until I saw a Metal King slime. Little did I know that I had to wait till so much longer in the game to actually see one of those, but I finally did. So I was happy. I've got my qualms with it, so I won't give it a perfect score, but I would say that this is easily 9.5 slimes. It's up there.
Yeah.
I only just now realized that I have to give it a score out of 10, which is why I was like making that face.
Nobody's gonna be surprised at my score. This game, like, even though I do have some problems with it, I don't think anything in life you're gonna go through and not have a single problem with, but it can still be perfect. So this game definitely gets Dragon Quest 11 out of 11 slimes.
I didn't even think about doing 11 now.
What would I change? What would I actually change in this game? How would I make it different that would make it a better game?
I have one suggestion.
What's that?
Certain points, they should just go from cutscene to cutscene. Instead of cutscene, give you control of the character, you take 3 steps, fair. Another cutscene. Like, just give me the flow of cutscenes and pop me in at the end of it. Like, I would rather sit there for 10 minutes and watch them in full than watch a 5-minute one, think I'm about ready to go fight something, take 3 steps, and then I'm in another 5-minute cutscene. It's like, not necessarily that they were 5 minutes. I'm using that as an arbitrary number, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I would just rather them hit me with them and then let me go. Other than that, really, I have no qualms with the game. Like, literally, that's my complaint, is that sometimes the cutscenes were placed in weird spots. But
I haven't felt this kind of love for an RPG since, like, when I was much younger and I played Final Fantasy, I played Dragon Quest VIII, all of those games, and I think I would be remiss to give this thing less than a perfect score, because I really do think this game was everything I actually wanted a Japanese RPG to be. I'm going to just pop it 10 out of 10. Without the funny 11 of 11 thing, that's great. That's really good shit. Appreciate that. No. 10 metal slimes and you managed to hit all 10.
Wow.
Whoa, look at you both coming in better than me. I'm just like, 9.5. And you guys are like coming out with all these cool.
The game truly is a love letter to our generation of growing up playing RPGs. Like, it seriously hits all the notes and just does things that the games of the past did, just in I'm just going to say a better way. It just took all we loved as kids playing RPGs and did it better.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they don't. I talked with James a little bit, and you'll be able to listen to that episode now, Willie. You'll be able to listen to that. I talked with him a little bit about Dragon Quest XII, saying that they're going to change up the combat style a little bit, and James is saying that he hopes it's more like how they did the new Legend of Heroes game, where it's like still turn-based, it's just a little different, but still has that core, like it didn't change its core, so we can only hope. Because really, I would like to see Square Enix do whatever the fuck they keep doing with Final Fantasy. Like, they're going to keep doing whatever the fuck they want to do with that, is what I meant. Like, they're going to make it action RPG. They got it, Kingdom Hearts sold really well, so let's fucking make every game Kingdom Hearts. I just hope they don't start doing that to Dragon Quest as well.
Yeah, that would absolutely break my heart.
Yeah. We need that, like, solid turn-based. We can always count on it being turn-based, like... If you want one of the side games, that's fine, but like the main series does not break from what it's supposed to be. I think you have Dragon Quest, and in another vein, you have Persona. Because Persona, while Persona is a spinoff of a spinoff, because I know Megami Tensei was the original thing, then it was Shin Megami Tensei, and then Persona spun off of Shin Megami Tensei. And the first one was actually Shin Megami Tensei Persona. But it's just different, you know what I mean? Like Shin Megami Tensei's kind of held its own. It hasn't really changed much. It's just adult Pokemon is exactly what it is. Dark, depressing Pokemon, and you're collecting demons and stuff instead of Pokemon. And then Persona is the exact same style of the game, but added in slice of life and like dating sim type stuff and really getting to know your parties and things like that. And like those series have stuck to what they're good at. Whereas Dragon Quest is also stuck to what it's good at. And like I said, they're going to keep doing whatever the fuck they want with Final Fantasy, which, that is what it is. I personally enjoyed 15. I haven't beat it, but I enjoyed what I played of it. And what I played of 13 back in the day on PS3, I liked it. So I have that in my library, and I look forward to playing that as well. But this new thing, this Final Fantasy Origin... I think is what it's called. It just doesn't, it didn't grab me. I don't think it grabbed either you guys either. So it's just, they're doing weird shit with that series. I just want them to not fuck with Dragon Quest.
I think they could get away with doing something with Dragon Quest, and I think they kind of did a little bit with this one, because as it is, it's a turn-based game. But when you get a new party member, no matter who it is, they're not set to follow orders. They're automatically set to perform actions based on fight wisely or something like that. Where you do have this ability in Dragon Quest XI to not control your characters at all and just have them fight based on a script kind of thing. And I think that they can move forward doing something with Dragon Quest XI to where there is the ability to have multiple combat systems in the same game, where you can toggle a switch that if you want that more action RPG experience, you could toggle that switch, while also pleasing the fans and having that still turn-based system for idiots like me who are never going to grow up.
And that's doable, because even non-JRPG, Pathfinder Kingmaker, PC CRPG, has a normal real-time battle strategy stuff, and then it also has turn-based. So it's like you can either go in there and it's like Baldur's Gate style, or you can go in there and it would be more turn-based-esque, where everybody takes their turns and goes and stuff like that. So it's doable. Like, you can do both.
Like, I'm just what I'm getting is, I'm just not going to give up hope that they're going to screw up my battle system entirely for 12, because I hope that they know that we love it.
I did like the free cam in 11.
Yeah.
I didn't use it for most of the game. I used standard or whatever, the old system. But like towards the end, when I started kind of getting worn out about it, I switched to that camera and being able to run around a little bit, just completely changed
a little fun to it.
my opinion. I was like, okay, yeah, so I can actually like run in there and then do the move and make it look all cool and stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was a cute addition. Like, and I know it did absolutely nothing, but like I just moved like Sylvando behind somebody before I stabbed him with a knife.
Yeah,
for sure. Or like have Hendrik just run in there and stand between them with these two big axes, just like hit me, even though they would still attack Sarita behind them.
And maybe that's something they could do to make the combat system, make that actually do something. That if you pull Hendrik out front, they're going to attack Hendrik more often.
Or like say if you wanted to do a specific pep, you maybe had to be in a formation.
So there's stuff you
like
can do.
Stand in a diamond.
There's stuff you can do that'll change the battle system, but still keep it turn-based. I think that's actually we just came up with a great thing right there. I think we should make a game that uses this.
That's right. Or Square Enix pay us.
64.
Did you say Gex 64?
Quest
I thought you said Gex 64.
Very similar mechanics.
I never played Quest 64, and I don't think many people did.
I was gonna say, isn't that supposedly like one of the only RPGs on the 64, and also like one of the worst?
It was. And it was.
That's a.
So we've got our work cut outs for us, lads.
It wasn't Paper Mario, so that's just that's the whole thing. It wasn't Paper Mario. Is there anything else that you guys would like to touch on, man?
I think that's it for Dragon Quest XI. Like I said, I've put 200 hours into this game over 2 playthroughs now. Absolutely love it, and it's a good place to close the book for a while.
I concur.
I think we can move on to housekeeping, man.
All right. As far as housekeeping goes, I do believe the next game is Blair Witch. That should be coming out next week. I'm going to go ahead and ahead of time apologize to one Mr. Mike Tyson from Factory Sealed. Factory Sealed Retro Gaming Podcast. Shout out. Love those guys. I don't think I'm going to like this game as much as you did. I've been playing it some, and like not to spoil too much for next week. I'm not having a blast. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not having a blast. It is the style of game that I almost feel like I would enjoy watching someone play more to get the story out of it without me having to deal with some of the mechanics that are in the game, because I'm very invested in figuring out what is going on, but I don't necessarily want to do what it is to figure out what is going on. So I'll figure it out. I'll play it more, but that's just my first thoughts on it. And then I also, our most listened to episode I've touched on is Doki Doki Literature Club, which is still hilarious to me because that episode got thrown together right at the fucking end. Like, it just got thrown together. And they just came out with Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, which is a new version of it with like added material and some other things. So I might look into getting that on here for the show and playing through that, because it's like it's gonna draw eyes in, because it's the most listened to episode of the show is the first Doki Doki Literature Club, and 2, I would like to see what was added.
Another bonus to that is you have somebody sitting in this group that has never played or watched any Doki Doki Literature Club playthroughs.
My
God,
shit, that's true. Oh shit, and you're speaking of yourself, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and, okay. You don't have to worry about it triggering you for anything, so because like you don't have some of the issues that it covers in the game, so that would be nice. That'll be nice, and that's not even spoilery. Like it tells you. I don't know if you've ever. Oh, you said you've never seen anything. When you load it up in the beginning, it's like this game's not for kids. This game is mature, yada yada yada. And then you click OK, and then it tells you again, it's like, no, seriously, this game contains sensitive material. Are you okay with playing this? And then you go into the game. So
yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I wouldn't stream that to Twitch, but I would stream that to YouTube.
Yeah, I would sit here and watch the whole fucking thing. I really would, because it would be so funny to watch you react.
I know you know a couple things about the game, but I don't think you know all.
No, the thing is like I've never watched it. I don't really even know the complete art style of the game or anything like that. It would be so like I don't have the visualization of what happened. Like I know I've listened to a couple of Tadpog. That is one of them. I've listened to a couple of podcast episodes about it, but no, I've never played or seen it myself.
Oh man, yeah, we might have to
And I'm
We might
not
have to do
retaining
that
the
at some point.
information from it. That's super great either.
Oh yeah, so we'll hash that out. That'll be on the docket at some point, hopefully soon, because that intrigues me. That intrigues me. But so Blair Witch, and then after that, at this moment, there's a poll up that anyone can come join the Discord. Again, if you go to the steammachinepodcast.wordpress.com, there is a link to the Discord on there. Join. Your vote matters. Vote or die. And
Rock the vote.
Voter vote.
rock the vote. Come and pick. Right now, Portal 2 is in the lead, up against some absolute bangers. It's up against Death Stranding, Control Ultimate Edition, Mortal Kombat Complete Edition, and Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition. And Portal 2 is winning. If that is a testament to that game, I don't know what the fuck else is, because those are all complete bangers, and Portal 2 is coming in on top. Oh, bangers in my opinion, personally. And then the week after that, Mr. Nate has chosen Gato Roboto. So whatever wins that poll after Blair Witch, after the next game, we're going to be jumping into Gato Roboto. And then we'll figure it out from there. We're either going to do another poll vote or put a poll vote up and then do a... no, I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's a lot. I'm planning too far in the future for my brain to work right now.
Calm it down,
Other
though.
than that, go ahead and plug your stuff, good sir.
Yeah, I am at TurtleBearMan on Twitter, where I do tweet, and I stream on twitch.tv/TurtleBearMan, and I do stream. I took a week off, but I'm back at it now, and if you come in this Sunday, you'll actually get to watch me beat Dragon Quest III. I'm 100% beating Dragon Quest III on Twitch Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Central Time. Be there.
Sunday. And
Join Nathan's stream. Do not even worry about me. Just go to twitch.tv/TurtleBearMan and just sit there. Because eventually it will be Sunday, and he is going to win that game. But I do have the Icebrain Studios screen name on Twitch and Twitter. I don't stream much. I don't tweet ever, but here I am.
but you can still go give him a follow. That's always nice.
You could.
I need to put a button on the website for your Twitch page.
Oh, thanks. That would be nice. I will eventually hit affiliate. I just haven't made a push for it.
Fair point.
I mean, I'm probably eventually just going to stream a bunch of Doom stuff, but
In fact,
I've been really busy
I
lately.
ought to just put both y'all on there, since y'all are on here damn near every week. I should just have buttons for y'all's Twitches and shit on there.
Ew.
Be nice.
This is just me hashing out on the air. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Dragon Quest XI. We will catch you next week for some motherfucking Blair Witch. Pants will be shat. As always, they're Willie and Nate, the brothers of motherfucking destruction. My name is Dalton, and as always, I think I just said as always, but I'm going to say it again. As always, take it easy.
He's usually Dalton.
I'm usually Dalton. Yes. In fact, music!